Topic: Globalization. Meaning of globalization. The term globalization evolved in the 1990s. Globalization means integration of economies and societies across borders. That is, movement of goods and people across borders. Thus, it led to the growing interdependence between nations as well as people. Let us discuss the changes due to globalization. First point, economic issues. A. Investment. India is a developing country, and if India wants to make progress, there must be development in the industrial, communication network, consumer sector, etc. For this, investments are essential. But domestic investments are limited, and therefore there is need of foreign investments. This was not possible prior to the 1990s because of governmental rules. The change in the government's policy towards investments made it possible for free flow of financial capital from foreign countries to India and vice versa. Let us take few examples. Foreign investments in India. Nestle, Microsoft, General Atlantica. Similarly, India's investment in foreign countries. Bharti Airtel in Mauritius, Reliance Power in Bangkok. Government of India invested in Russia's oil and gas projects. The examples clearly shows that both government and private sectors can make investments. Change in the method of trade. International trade was governed by General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade since 1948. But in course of time, there was a demand from various countries of the world for a stronger organization which would monitor, supervise, liberalize and resolve trade disputes. This led to the establishment of World Trade Organization in the year 1995. The objectives of World Trade Organization, that is WTO, first one, to set and enforce rules for international trade. Second, to provide a forum for negotiation and monitoring further trade liberalization. Third, to resolve trade disputes. Fourth, to increase transparency of decision-making process. Fifth, to cooperate with other international economic institutions. Sixth, to help developing countries benefit fully from global trading system. Prior to the 1990s, trade was done in commodities like coal, fruits, flowers. But after 1990s, the scope of trade widened. That is, it included services like banking, insurance, technology, as well as intellectual property. Goods were loaded and unloaded in barrels, sacks, crates or boxes. Goods like flowers, fruits, vegetables perished, whereas goods like furniture may have been damaged. Shipping was the only way to transport goods. But this changed in due course of time, and countries adopted road, rail and air to transport goods and commodities. The most important development which made it possible for goods and commodities to reach their destination safely was the container cargo ships. See emergence of multinational and transnational companies. As the economy was thrown open to foreign investments, it led to the presence of multinational and transnational companies, which in turn led to the migration of skilled and unskilled workers not only within the country but also to foreign lands. For example, large number of Indian workers in Gulf countries. New sectors like catering, housekeeping, delivery of goods and food items, as well as BPO centers, that is business process outsourcing, opened the doors for employment. Small industries and shops faced tough competition from multinational companies. The multinational companies were techno-savvy, and if small industries and shops had to survive, they had to adopt the latest technology. For example, Standard Chartered Bank was one of the first foreign bank in India. It came with its technology and forced the Indian banks to adopt new technology to serve their consumer better. Let us take another example. The local kirana shops survived because they catered to the local people. That is, local people were allowed to purchase from their shops on credit basis. The availability of modern agro technologies, that is tractors, or let us take for example weather report, export of agricultural commodities were liberalized and mode of transport improved, which made it possible for Indian farmers to sell their products like meat, rice, fruits, spices, vegetables directly to companies. Second point, political issues. A. Democratic system. The East European Revolution of 1989 and the disintegration of USSR in 1991 led to the fall of communism and adoption of democratic systems in these countries. As a result, terms like participatory state and good governance gained importance in these countries. B. States' sovereignty challenged. Globalization reduced the importance of the state and its sovereignty, which has been challenged by external and internal factors. What are the internal factors? Internal challenges come from growth of nationalism, decline of national consensus, and non-state actors. What are the external factors? External challenges come from the growth of international law, regional economic organizations, globalization of markets, and growing environmental and humanitarian concerns. In spite of these challenges, with challenges internal and external, the authority of the state remains intact. Therefore, assuming that the state's sovereignty has been threatened is absolutely wrong. C. Role of NGOs. NGOs have crucial role to play in globalization. Governments are unable to help everyone in need. But the NGOs, through their links across border, can touch lives by creating awareness, helping and motivating people to achieve their goals. That is, governments do keep contact, but it is not as quick as an NGO, because an NGO which is in Israel, the same NGO exists even in India. Therefore, they are able to touch lives of millions of people. Let us take for example, the NGOs were able to mobilize people for abolishing the establishment of nuclear power projects in Jaitpur in Maharashtra as well as in Kundakulam in Tamil Nadu. D. Protection of human rights. Protection of human rights is an important factor in the age of globalization. There is a difference in approach towards human rights between developed and developing countries. The developing countries place more importance on community, family, and welfare of the people, whereas developed countries place importance on individual rights as well as on civil and political rights. So it is very clear that the opinions of developing and developed countries with respect to human rights vary. And therefore, in case there is violation of human rights, it has to be seen in the existing situation of developing countries.